Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Total War Rome 2. So we're here for some more battle replays. These are submitted by Arius again. And just a reminder to anybody that might have any replays out there that they would like to see put in, all you need to do is email me your replay. In the description of this video, you'll find my email, and I'll check it out and decide if I want to put it in a video. Most likely I will, because right now I'm only getting videos from Arius, but they are quite good videos, and he says these are relatively short battle replays, so if I want to do them in one episode together, then it would work. They're both against Zarflo. The first one is going to be Arius' Egypt versus Zarflo as the Arsini. So let's just jump right into it. So yeah, how you guys doing? How's your week going? Good. Glad to hear it. My week's been very interesting thus far. Went fishing today. I don't like fish. I think they taste bad. They're slimy. But it is relaxing to go fishing. I just have to find somebody that'll eat the fish I catch. Which isn't too hard. Okay. I like to reserve commentation upon the actual units till I zoom in here. Now, Total War is one of the games I've had some of the most trouble recording. It seems to... While I'm playing, it seems just fine. And it says it's recording just fine, but sometimes it skips or lags around a little bit. And I'm not sure why exactly that is. Obviously, it is a more... It is a more difficult game to run, but anyways, I'm trying a couple new things out, so if you watch this and notice anything, let me know, or if it seems okay, let me know as well. Alright, so, Arius is Egypt. You can see he's got a line of 4 Egyptian pikemen up here, covering his front. These guys look pretty awesome. Very strange again, playing, looking at Rome 2. Then back here we have 4 units of Egyptian archers. Looking very Egyptian indeed. Behind them we have some Egyptian infantry. We have 4 units of them. We are being very symmetrical again, as Arius tends to be. Then we have a Levithuros spear at the back. My guess is he has them in reserve to see where the cavalry goes, so he can use their precursors if I know him. Then he's got Sobek Cultus obviously in the back to apply where needed. Apply to burn. Yeah. I think I'm funny sometimes, but I know I'm not. Then Galatian swordsmen. These guys are cheap melee infantry, but they'll hold their own for a little while. Pretty sure they have precursors as well. I don't see it on their stat card though, but I guess I could be wrong. Over here he's got his general. His general is a Ptolemaic cavalry, excuse me. So we got the shot cav down here. We'll take a quick look at him. Lovely, lovely. And then up here in front of them, he just has a single unit of light cavalry. And then I believe I saw something out here. Yes, he's got 1 more unit of light cavalry. Now he is going up against the Iceni. You can see the Iceni has gone for a very infantry-focused build, which is what you generally will see with these barbarian builds. But he's got some heroic nobles out here on the flank. Some painted ones. It looks like he's got 2 painted ones on the flank here, and then his secondary line is made up of sword bands. And then I'm guessing, nope, just more sword bands, then a heroic noble, veteran riders out there on the flank. Got to be careful of them with the cheaper cavalry Egypt has brought. And then he's got a front line of levy freemen. It looks like he's got 5 of them. Looks like he's going to get a charge off with these light cav here right into these painted ones, which is not a bad way to do things because these painted ones are not very sturdy, but you don't want them to get their charges off. You don't want them to be able to flank around and get their charges off. So, you know, if he takes if he loses this light cav, does some damage to these painted ones, it's not too bad. It doesn't look like he took too much damage from these levy freemen and painted ones. Or the heroic nobles, and those javelins were very ineffective. Those precursors were a mile behind, or kilometer behind, excuse me, for those of us who do not share my nationality. I do apologize. My nationality has chosen such a strange system of measurement and temperature and has picked out the most wonderful 2 presidential candidates known to man. But that's not why we're here. Oh, man. That looked like it hurt. But he is running his light cav back here through this gap, drawing these veteran riders with him. They took some pretty good hits from those precursors, though, and that substantially weakened their unit. You can see here pretty much all those bodies are from that. Not 100% sure what he's trying to pull with that. My guess is that he perhaps is just trying to harass him in the back, make him not pay attention, or he's just going straight for some of these sword bands in the rear. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like Egypt is now moving up the Galatian swordsmen to protect the pikemen. This is undoubtedly to protect them from the precursors that they're likely going to face from these levy freemen. And you can see that he has placed only 2 of the Galatian swordsmen up front, and he spread them out as thin as possible so that he covers the entire pikeman line with as few of units as possible, which is very wise. And my swamp cooler just turned on. I apologize if you guys can hear that. I'll turn my mic away from it, so hopefully you can't. Yeah, so this is kind of a sacrificial charge. I don't think these 2 Galatian swords are going to take on 5 levy freemans. Oh, but it looks like he's also going to pile... Okay, so the Iceni... Okay, he should not have done this. So the Iceni just piled in a bunch more troops. The levy freeman could have done this just fine. He did speed up the process of destroying these Galatian swordsmen, but now he's committed more troops into the center. And you can see here that Egypt's already taken advantage of that. And one of the advantages the Iceni had is they had a much larger amount of infantry, which means you can spread around the formation of your opponent, which is now not something he's going to be able to do as easily. He is pulling his troops back out, which is smart, leaving the levy freemen up front to take the brunt of this. And these pikemen are going to take some casualties from the levy freemen precursors. Following up that Galatian charge with these pikemen a little bit closer, timing it a little bit better, might have helped him, but he's not taking too many losses. It's not crazy. It's not going to hurt his chances of winning this. But allowing these Egyptian archers to have free reign on the battlefield is not particularly wonderful. Obviously, he doesn't really want to engage these pikemen, but if you're going to engage pikemen front on, then the only real reason to do that is to tie them up. And if you're going to tie them up, you're going to want to use a cheap unit like these levy freemen. So he honestly should move these levy freemen in, and these sword units should have been moving around the flanks a lot sooner. But you can already see Egyptian infantry moving up to close in these ranks. I apologize. I think I said there was too many Galatians. I can't remember now. But yeah, so we got Egyptian infantry going up against painted ones. I don't actually know how this is going to go. I'm not particularly as savvy with Rome 2 as... Well, I never was the best Rome 2 player, and I wasn't particularly the most savvy of all the stats, but it has been a while since I've personally played it. But my guess is that these painted ones and these sword bands might actually beat these Egyptian infantry. I was going to say just the opposite, but that's just based on the look that the Egyptians have some amount of clothing, which is one thing I don't like about the barbarian factions. Historically accurate or not, either way, I don't care. I don't know. It just, to me, is kind of funny to look at all these guys half naked on the battlefield. I don't see the logic in that, but I suppose that... Oh my god, look at those Egyptian archers just nailing these sword bands and heroic nobles on the side there with his... That is a really good, really good shooting right there. He might take a few losses from his Egyptian infantry or some friendly fire, but it's not going to be enough. Looks like he's plugging this hole with the Levy-Thuro spears. His general, the Ptolemaic cavalry, did win out that fight over there on the flank. And then on this flank, things are not going particularly well for Egypt, but these Sobek cultists are holding their own. They're going a little bit crazy. They're calling in the animal spirits to guide them in their bloody debauchery this night. Ooh, lovely. Oh, that was a good zoom in. Okay, so on the front lines, obviously the pikemen are, for the most part, winning out. The only time they are not winning out is when they are flanked by anything. They're not going to be particularly effective if they are flanked. Sobek cultists are coming around here to try and help mop this up. I have to say, though, that this is one of the more even fights I've seen against Arius in a little while. He's not a bad player at all. He is moving Egyptian pikemen up here to kind of box in these Levy Freemen so they can't flank around him, but he is going to get flanked by these Levy Freemen. Nothing you can really do. If you're outnumbered with pikemen, then there's not a whole lot you can do to avoid them getting flanked eventually, unless you have other units to cover them, which this one obviously does not. He's got a unit of Egyptian pikemen just chilling here. I'm not sure. Oh, there they go. They're starting to move over. These Egyptian archers are still lighting him up. Looks like they're doing pretty good on kills, like really good on kills, actually. Not bad at all. But we still have a heroic noble. Looks like the Iceni are not doing half bad, actually. I would say Egypt... Well, the balance power says Egypt is winning as well, but I would say Egypt has a bit more on the field to use as well. But these two heroic noble units are going to be pretty difficult to take out. We got Sobek cultists now going in head-to-head with a bunch of Levy Freemen and one partial unit of a sword band. Should be interesting to see what they make of this. They're not too impressed, obviously. They're doing pretty fine on their own. In fact, here we go. So we have the heroic noble backed up by one sword band and a Levy Freeman, all of them slightly above half strength. This heroic noble is almost full strength, and this heroic noble is even closer to full strength, but he's got a lot of stuff to go through. I mean, these heroic nobles are tough, but he's got a lot of shit to deal with now. He's got pikemen left over, small unit of Egyptian infantry, Ptolemaic cavalry, which without these Levy Freemen having their precursors could be difficult. And it looks like he's going to go ahead and throw the Levy Freeman away into the Sobek cultist. So that should be interesting. Those Sobek cultists are racking up some really good kills. Look at that, 178. I mean, against a barbarian faction like this, these Sobek cultists would do something like that. Put them up against, like, a Roman legionnaire, though, and they're head-on, they're not going to do anything. But he got some really great flanks with these Sobek cultists, and he's going up against some very squishy targets. And these Sobek cultists are just tearing it up. I haven't seen this kind of... Well, never mind. That joke was inappropriate that I was about to make. But either way, it looks like things are slowly going to be wrapping up. The Egyptians with Egyptian archers are going to be able to pound them pretty hard. Tying up some heroic nobles with these Egyptian infantry, which... I don't know if I would have allowed that to happen. Looks like these Ptolemaic cavalry are going to take advantage of this to smash into these sword band and these Levy Freemen. The heroic nobles are eating through units, but they have more lines to go through, and they're still being hit by Egyptian archers. And he turned his back to the Egyptian archers, so he's going to take some pretty heavy hits there. You can see his numbers are going down quickly. The Ptolemaic cav are getting out of there, though. They don't want to be in a prolonged fight with heroic nobles, but it is too late for the Iceni. This one goes as a victory for Egypt. I'm not 100% sure why the British tribe of the Iceni were down here near the pyramids of Giza anyways, but well, you never know. History's a strange thing. Alright, end replay. Yeah, great kills on the Ptolemaic cavalry. The light cavalry were used more for utility than for kills. Great kills on these Egyptian archers. Really good kills there. Got some good flanking shots. These Egyptian infantry did not do well at all, so that is where I stand corrected. I should have known, though, that despite being poorly armored, the barbarian units do pack a punch. And against a cheaper infantry unit like this, they are going to eat through them. Egyptian pikemen did reasonable, but I feel like they were more of a kind of a distraction. A utility unit, if you will, to maneuver the enemy where you want them. Galatian swords, half and half. Sobek cultists, 186. Lovely. That is some good kills. Heroic nobles did okay. There's a few on the veterans. Levy Freeman actually did okay for their price. Those precursors are really helpful. these painted ones got pretty good. And this Heroic Noble, 279. That is quite good. All right, let's jump to the next one. Yeah, fuck it, let's do it. We're already here. So this is going to be 2 barbarian factions. We're going to see the Swaby versus the Arverni, which I'm actually pretty interested to see. I usually think of the Swaby as the least effective of the kind of main barbarian factions. But of course, they basically take what the barbarians do best and do it slightly better, and that is being naked and screaming and smacking things, as seen by the Bloodsworn units here with the clubs. It looks like his entire front line here is made up of Bloodsworn. That would be 6 Bloodsworn, followed up by some Spear Levies. That's 4 Spear Levies. He's got his Swordmaster here in the center, along with some Berserkers. And then he's got a bunch of these Longbow Hunters, 4 of them. Then he's got 2 units of Germanic Scout Riders riding out here to harass the Arverni, who are sitting out a heavy horse in response. So, could be interesting to see how that turns out. Not 100% sure why he is moving his heavy horse up within shot of these guys. I mean, they are relatively tanky for a barbarian unit, but I still wouldn't allow them to be within range of them willingly. So now he's going to chase after the skirmishers, heavy cav versus light cav in a race. I'm going to tell you right now, I've played so many matches against Arius just 1v1, just messing around with different mods, his mods. He makes a Project Arius vanilla. We have played a lot of matches together over the last couple of years, and whenever he brings a skirmishing cav unit, I just shit myself. I don't know why, but I never know how to deal with them adequately. Maybe it's the micromanaging required for it, or there's something in my genes that doesn't allow me to counter mounted skirmishers. That's why the Huns are the bane of my existence. I've always preferred a very infantry-focused build, and so when I have something like this messing with me, it can get quite annoying. I can feel with the Arverni guy here. Let's take this chance, though, while things are slow, to look over the units. We have some Oathsworn as the general here, as well as the Heavy Horse unit. They're both taking some losses. They are heavier units, so they're not going to just be ripped apart, but sustained fire on them is not going to be pretty. I'm not sure why he's using his general as one of the units to be the missile sponge, but you know, everyone has their thing, you know. So then his front line is made up of Levy Freemen, quite a few of them. It looks like he has 6 of them, although he is tearing one of them off to the flank to, I would assume, do the responsible thing and cover these units that definitely should not have been the brunt of those missile units. These Levy Freemen definitely should have been taking that. Now he just lost his heavy horse, and yeah, just two losses on the Oathsworn, but I still wouldn't have left them out there in the open to be picked apart by skirmishers. So it looks like his main body is moving up. He's going to be the aggressor here now. This happens a lot too when you see missile cavalry units kind of picking away at your back lines. People get, if they're having a hard time dealing with it, they will a lot of times do, and I do this all the time, this is why I'm saying this, but they will just kind of recklessly charge ahead. Well, it actually looks like it's just moving up, but that's what I do. And you're watching my video. So, yeah, I'm the expert here. So front line of the Levy Freemen, and then the secondary line is Celtic Warriors. My god, how many does he have there? Let me do the quick math in my head. It looks like he has 7. 7 units of Celtic Warriors. On the end here, he's got Oathsworn, and then he's got another heavy horse, so he's got 1 more unit of these heavy horses. Should be interesting to see. I don't know how these things are going to stand up to the Bloodsworn. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Bloodsworn are a DLC unit. I could be completely wrong about that. It might be the Young Wolves or something. I can't remember. Either way, I don't have a ton of experience with the Swaby. If I'm going to go a barbarian faction, I do like the Arverni. I think they're a pretty solid faction. Still with the strength of the kind of barbaric style of combat, but they have options for heavier units too. Celtic Warriors to make up their their cheap throwaway units, but then they also have the heavier infantry units available to them as well. And it looks like the spear infantry of the Suebi are going to be moving up to take the charge, as it were. I would assume the Celtic warriors... no, it looks like they're going to throw spear levies versus levy freemen against each other. Don't know how that's going to go. I'd assume they have the same stats, but I am definitely wrong. It appears that the levy freemen have a higher armor value, but that the spear levies have a higher charge and melee attack. Is there another difference in there I'm not seeing? I see melee defense in there too, but it's pretty similar. Celtic warriors have pushed up into the line in a couple of spots there to try and help push through. Yeah, he's throwing his berserkers into the fight now. Not a half bad idea to throw the berserkers in as your unit is routing, especially when it's Celtic warriors, because the berserkers are not particularly heavily armored, and you don't really want that small of a unit with low armor to be wasted taking shots from precursors, which is what's going on over here between Bloodsworn and Celtic warriors. You can see this whole front line is starting to... the first wave of fighters is retreating. The levy freemen and spear levies are running away. We have some... is this... Whose unit is this? These cavalry. Whose unit? Whose cavalry unit is this? By God, somebody better fucking tell me. Seriously, who the fuck's cavalry is this? Oh, Germanic Scout Riders. Okay, so those are the Germanic Riders. They've come in from the rear. Oop, wrong tool. Boop. Looks like we have retreating forces from both sides, though I would say the Arverni are starting to lose this engagement. The Oathsworn on this flank here are helping, though, although I probably would have got them into the main fighting instead of so far out here on the flank, just kind of messing around with that Bloodsworn unit. The longbows are doing fair, not particularly wonderful, but it's working. Heavy horse are coming back here to spear levies. Not sure why exactly he's throwing the heavy horses at spear levies instead of going after these longbow hunters as long as they were still alive, but you know, it's his life. He can do what he wants. Oathsworn are now making it into more of the center of the fray, although things have broken up considerably. Looks like they're going to go head-to-head with another Bloodsworn, but they are going to start taking some shots from all these longbow hunters. Not the best angle on the Oathsworn, but some of the flanks here where he was spread so much wider than the Bloodsworn are pretty vulnerable now to fire. Yep, there you go. You can see that. Even though he's head-to-head with them, just because he had a much wider unit, it is going to take the brunt of that, and he's going to get another Bloodsworn in there to hold him down. Actually, I think that was the Celtic warriors we were seeing there on the flank. The Oathsworn are more over on that side. On this side of the fight, you can see that the Sword Masters are going head-to-head with a Oathsworn. Yes, I know what I'm talking about. And it does look like they are winning. I wasn't watching this flank as much, so I didn't really see if they, if either of these forces were weakened beforehand. But these Oathsworn are now going to definitely lose this, flanked by a Bloodsworn, and I'm not sure which unit is better between Oathsworn and Swordmasters. My guess would be they'd be pretty similar, but being flanked from behind with a Bloodsworn is going to end them. And this Oathsworn is still holding out pretty strong, even with 8 members left, but they were cornered by Bloodsworn and Berserkers, as well as all these longbow archers hitting them from different angles. So this battle is going to go to the Germanic Suebi clan. Lovely stuff. Berserkers, lovely kills there, 227, that is amazing. Germanic Scout Riders, yeah, these things should have been stopped in a different way, but both great kills. Swordmasters, great kills. Pretty good kills on these Bloodsworn too, actually. It looks like they averaged more kills than the Celtic Warriors. Yes, no, maybe? It looks like it. It's pretty close. Maybe a bit more. Longbow Hunters didn't get a lot of kills, but they did okay. Didn't lose a lot of either. Spear Levies and Levy Freeman obviously didn't pick up too many kills during the fighting. But I hope you guys have enjoyed that. Again, if you have your own replays you'd like to see, then send them in to me. I'd love to check them out. And I apologize again for my Swamp Cooler But it is really hot in here. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.